Hello, my friends on YouTube. Today is Sunday, the 28th of May 2023. Today's video is similar to the one we spoke of last week, but today's about another woman. Her name is uh, Zainab, and the video is the ethics of Muhammad and I put Zainab first as a subject. Zainab and Muhammad. Let's start. Before we speak about Zainab, I would like to speak about her husband, and his name is Zayd. Zayd bin al-Haritha. And Zayd is very interesting because he is a man, he's the only man of Muhammad's followers that is mentioned in Quran. And there's a reason for that, and the reason is actually has to deal with shame. There's a feeling of guilt and shame on part of Muhammad. This is what I believe, and that's why he was mentioned to justify what happened. Okay, let's delve into the story. Zainab, Zayd was an orphaned person. He didn't have parents when he was a young boy. And probably for Muhammad, because he was also an orphan and he didn't have parents, he knew the hardship and the abuse that young kids face. All kind of abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, you name it. I mean, it's all around us until today. A child who is not protected, he's a prey to many mentally sick people. So, having experienced that kind of life, he at this moment was married to Khadija, who is a wealthy lady. So in a way he was financially at ease, and therefore he adopted that young boy as his son. And later on that son was known, instead of calling him Zayd bin al-Haritha, his father al-Haritha, he became Zayd bin Muhammad, meaning Zayd, son of Muhammad. And for that we thank Muhammad very much for adopting a child and protecting that child until he became an adult. We have to say what's good, what's not. So here I must stop and say that was something good, I see, that the founder of Islam had done, Muhammad had done. We thank him for that. However, he didn't finish the good deed all the way. And we'll see why. And why he feels guilt to a point that God occupy his mind and heart to send a Quranic verse concerning this young man, Zayd. As it is tradition in the Middle East, parents choose the bride or the groom for their children. That's natural, that's normal in this region. And probably in many places like Korea, India. I don't know if that was practiced in North Africa before Islam, but right now in North Africa until today, many parents choose for their sons and daughters. Anyway, that's not the subject. Muhammad, we thank him again. He found a bride to this young man. We thank him for that. Now, time passes by and a lot of revelation was happening, a lot of things were happening, and of the revelation that people, the believers, should not disobey Allah or His Messenger, Muhammad. That's in the Quran. I'll put all this in the description box if you want to look at it. Anyway, he found a young lady who was also following in this ideology, and her name was Zainab, and this is the lady that I put her name on the video. Zainab was a young lady, and Muhammad introduced her to marry this young man Zaid, and she kind of like didn't really like the suggestion much, because he is even anyway, he is an adult now and he has his own life and he's working whatever he's doing, earning his own money. I'm sorry, he didn't graduate from Harvard or Yale or some, so he was still a poor man. She was looking for something higher up the scale. But because she cannot disobey the Prophet of Allah, she accepted. She married this young man, Zaid, and they became husband and wife, and they had their home somewhere in Arabia. Anyway, days go by, and Muhammad, the founder, he goes to visit his son, which is natural, normal. What's not normal is, I think, what happened, I'm going to explain. Let's say he, in this culture, you go like once a week or every few days. You make a schedule that on that day I'm going to visit my son or daughter at home, at her home, or at his home. So you know that your father-in-law or your mother-in-law is coming to visit you on Tuesday at 3 o'clock, around 3 o'clock. That was the tradition. And one day, the Prophet goes to visit his son. And that's not the problem. The problem, when he went there, his son was not there. That's okay. It's his son's home, and the wife is his daughter. When he went there, the lady, the daughter-in-law, in the story it says hardly had any clothes on, anything on. Maybe she was totally naked, but there's certain feeling of shame, so they say she had little clothing on. That's not a problem. Let's say my son is married, and my son gave me the key to his home. In case if I'm in the area, I can drop by. Even if he's not there, that's my son's home. I can go if I want to take a nap or eat something. That's my son's home. I can go. So he went. Muhammad went because this is his son's home. And he looks. The woman is naked. Now, did she arrange that because she knew her husband is not there, and probably she knew this is the time Muhammad comes to visit, so she took all of her clothes off or left a little clothing on so that he may look at her, so that she will see and find out whether or not he will be interested in her. On my part, I am not a prophet, I am not a holy man. If my son is married and I go and I see, let's say I open the door because I have the key, and I see his wife coming out of the shower or the bath and she is naked, I will look the other way and I tell her to go to her room and to get dressed and stuff like that, because that's her house. She can take shower and she can come out of the shower. If she heard somebody coming in, she can come out of the shower quickly to see who this is. And yeah, she could be naked, yeah. But on my part, I don't stare at my daughter-in-law. I look the other way until she get decent. That is a natural reaction from any normal human being. But she waited, and the Prophet of Allah stared at her, and he said something to that effect is, what a beauty God created. Ah, why would you say that? And make sure that she hears that. Why? Why don't you look the other way and tell her, get dressed? And that's the normal thing to say and do. Why you make sure to tell her that you are so beautiful? He looked at the merchandise and he had to compliment the merchandise. This is fresh meat. Man, I can do jihad all night with this kind of meat. That's practically what he was implicating when he was saying, you are so beautiful. And she was not convinced already that her husband is good enough for her. And she knows there is hadith. It says, if the eye of the Prophet falls on any woman of the believer, her husband ought to divorce her and give her to the Prophet of Allah to do jihad with her all night. He likes jihad. So she knew the consequences. So I think it's not written in the books, but I believe this what happened. She knew he will pass by, and if he doesn't, she can dress and continue on with her day. Alright? She got undressed to show him the merchandise, and he reacted in a lustful way. And that was the hook. Wow, I got him now. So when her husband returned, she told him of what happened and what the Prophet said. That he liked me and he said, I am beautiful. God made me beautiful. It's like, now, what are you going to do? You know that when the eye of the Prophet falls on a woman, the husband must divorce her and give her to the Prophet of Allah to marry her and do jihad. Jihad, I'm adding that. But practically this is what he was doing. Fighting, invading villages and towns and nighttime, different type of jihad. So, now, put yourself in the position of that adopted son. A man who protected you while you are vulnerable, while you are a child. You could have been abused, you could have been killed, whatever. Nobody would know about you. So, he knows the law that the Prophet put and said, and I'll put that in the description box, that when the eye of the Prophet falls on a woman, the husband must divorce her and give it to the Prophet to marry her. That's one. So, in addition to that, he feels indebted. He feels indebted to this man because he protected him. So what he does, honestly, he was an honorable man. He went to the founder of Islam and he told him, Prophet of Allah, I want to divorce my wife to give her to you. knowing that your eyes was interested in her, so you can do jihad with her, it's okay. And the answer of the prophet reminds me of when we were kids, like teenagers. Your parents teach you to share your toys, to share your video games, to share your things with your friends. But there is a video game or a toy that you like very much, you really, really don't want to share this. But because your parents told you to share the toy, you come with a heavy heart, hoping that your friends will understand and they will let you keep the toy. You tell them, you know, here, take my toy, I'm sharing it with you. Take it and play with it. It's okay. I like it very much, but it's okay. I mean, I will miss it, but it's okay. And then your friends tell you, it's okay, you can keep it then, if you like it that much. If you like it that much, keep it. Okay. So this man, Zayd, he went to the Prophet and he was willing to divorce his wife. But then, because the Arabs did not do that, the Arabs had honor, and Muhammad knew that they are going to talk about this subject. They are going to criticize him that he's marrying his daughter-in-law. This is against the Arab tradition. So to clear himself, he was telling him, did she do any, do you want to divorce her because did she do anything bad, anything wrong? He said, no, Prophet, she is a good woman. Okay, yeah, she's beautiful and everything, but keep her. She's your wife. I have many women back there. Keep her. I mean, she's beautiful and she has good stuff, but she's your only wife. It's okay. Keep her. You don't need to divorce her this time. So the guy left. He didn't insist, no, please, Prophet, take her. Then Gabriel comes with a Quranic verse quickly. What are you doing? You are lying to save your face from people and people's talk, and they say you are marrying your daughter-in-law. Don't do that. You are afraid of people. Fear God, not the people. Go ahead and do jihad with the girl. Take her from him. Okay, he took her. The people talked. So Gabriel came with another verse. There is no adoption. Only you can't marry your own, the daughter-in-law of your own lineage. Your own son, who is of your DNA, your own lineage, you can marry his daughter. But if it's an adopted son, it's okay. Go ahead. And to secure the thing, Gabriel came to him. There is no adoption from now on. To save his image. And with that, many young kids are raised up on the streets in many Islamic countries, and many families, many husband and wife don't have kids. They could, if he didn't do that, these people who cannot conceive a child of their own, they could have adopted these kids, but there is no adoption. So it is more moral from that standpoint to have these kids vulnerable and get abused and molested than having a family to take care of them. This twisted mind and heart is here. And I plan to keep doing that until we hear where did this man, Egyptian man Said al-Idrisi, disappeared. Excuse me. At the end, I'd like to close with good news happened in Saudi Arabia, which is um, young kids were playing, doing a play in the school, and the play, excuse me, the play is about, it's called Ufuq. Ufuq means horizon. What's on the horizon? What is to come soon? And it's very interesting that young kids enter to the stage. One boy carrying a lit ball, and few girls behind him wearing hijab. And with this hijab, as they enter, they take that hijab off and throw it on the floor and walk on it. What does hijab mean? Hijab means the Islamic way of life that came to us 1400 years ago. What does that signify? Taking it off is we're getting rid of this. And you're not putting it on a chair or on the side. You're stepping on it with your shoes. And the play called Horizon. That's very significant. And for that, Twitter's people are fighting now back and forth on Twitter. Some agree, some are happy, some are miserable. But about 10 years ago, I felt this is the natural path that will happen to Islam. What will happen to Islam soon is death in this manner, humiliated. We thank you very much and we hope to hear from you.